Welcome to the regularly scheduled public meeting of March 18, 2019 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers in January, and this notice has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board and on the Township website. Please notify the Township Clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at mayor and council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your right and through the door on your left. Please silence all cell phones. Could everybody please stand for a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilman Bruno? Councilman Casio?
Here.
Councilman Cumming?
Here.
Councilman Ullman?
Here.
Council President DeSena?
Here. Let the record reflect also in attendance, Mayor Calamari, Township Administrator Tovo, Township Attorney Poller, CFO Judy Curran, and Township Clerk Witkowski. Reading of the total list of bills.
No, not tonight. That was last week.
That was last week, okay. Approval of minutes, October 1st, 2018, regular meeting, October 1st, 2018, conference meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Approval of minutes, October 15, 2018, for the regular meeting, October 15, 2018, for conference meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Approval of minutes for the October 19, 2018 special meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
You can't vote on that one. The one thing I should have to explain is that wherever you see italicized names are meetings that you were not in attendance of, instead of writing it at the top. So unfortunately, I'm sorry. Council President DeSena?
Yes. Approval of minutes, October 29, 2018, regular meeting, October 29, 2018, conference meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Approval of minutes, November 5th, 2018, special meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
That's November 5th?
Correct.
I'm italicized.
He's italicized.
You're abstained.
I'm abstaining.
Yes. Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes.
Thank you.
Approval of minutes, November 17, 2018, special meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Approval of minutes, November 19, 2018, regular meeting, November 19, 2018, conference meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Abstain.
Thank you.
Approval of minutes, December 3rd, 2018, regular meeting, December 3rd, 2018, conference meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Motion to open the meeting up to the public for general public discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. If anybody would like to come up and address the council, please do so. Name and address. Would anybody like to come up and address the council at this time?
William Farrar, 2556 Cleveland Avenue. I wanted to make some comments on the budget. I've been watching the TV of the meetings. You had discussed, and I think included money in the budget for the removal of dead trees.
Yes.
I'd like you to consider also not only removing the dead trees, but trimming and pruning the dead branches in live trees, because there are quite a few trees, especially in Clark Field, that have a number of dead branches above, they take away the dead trees, but they never touch the live trees. And they could be in danger. You
Absolutely.
can see some of the size of some of them when they fall. The second thing is, I've had some conversations with people who have children who play at Sherry Field, and I think Gardner Field, are concerned about the fact that they have to use porta-johns rather than have bathrooms at those two fields. And so I'm wondering if you could possibly put on the list of the capital projects, potentially of adding 2 bathrooms, just like you have at Clark and Memorial at those 2 fields at some point in time. Then the other thing I wanted to discuss was the last meeting you had, Mr. Toomey was here and he presented his program. It seemed to me that a lot of the program was being taken away from the schools and being moved to the community center, Bethany Community Center. I have a problem with that from a taxpayer's point of view. We pay taxes to fund the schools, the municipal government, and the county. If we start taking money from the municipal budget and giving it a third party, we are actually going to cause, theoretically, could cause a tax increase in the school's budget, because normally we move that money from the municipal portion of a tax dollar to the school portion of the tax dollar.
Well, that's all overtime money, Mr. Ferraro, that we pay for the
Okay, now,
janitors
the
to come and open
question,
the
I
schools.
think, I want to make a statement now. I was a member of the Board of Education from 1981 to 1987. At that time, and the overtime was custodial overtime.
Correct.
The only custodial overtime that anybody was ever charged for was custodial overtime if they opened up the schools on Sunday, because there was custodians in the building up until at least 9 and maybe 11 o'clock, I think, at the high school, every other day of the week, with the exception of Saturday. Saturday, I think they quit at 6 o'clock. So if you're being charged custodial overtime because the kids are going to play in George School, for an example, from 7 to 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night playing basketball, it's not extra custodial overtime. He's there anyway. That's his regular shift. That's what it was then. It may have changed, but I would check that before you.
Well, the cost will go down significantly to us in expenses.
Well, that's the other
by
question,
doing
because there
this.
was no number mentioned the other night of what it would cost to go to a third party outside.
It's less than what we pay now.
Yeah, Mike, if I may. I'm working with Bethany on rates and things like that, and they're still in the process of giving us rates for some of the programs, but nothing will be set in stone until we evaluate school costs versus Bethany costs.
So is
see if
anything
there
going
is
to
savings.
go in the budget then for it? If you still haven't, I don't know, you're pretty far down the budget preparation cycles from what I can understand.
Well, I think we budgeted the same amount as last year, hoping that it would come in less when we
Become
move
less?
it to the
Okay.
new services, Mr. Ferraro.
Okay.
And I
Then
think it's a
the other
general
thing,
line item.
It's a
not-
general line
it's not
item for
specifically
rentals,
for,
yeah.
Excuse me?
It's not a line item specifically for Bethany or anything else.
No,
It's what we're going to get the best value for our
okay.
money.
Yeah, well, the point I'm trying to make
I
is,
understand your point.
as a taxpayer,
If it's gonna
the
be
best
more,
value
we'll
is to
leave it
leave
where
the
it is.
money in the taxpayer's pocket, not to move it to third party.
I understand.
So that should be taken into consideration. At one meeting, I know somebody mentioned a revaluation. Do you plan to do a revaluation of the properties in town next year?
No,
No.
we just did it recently in the last couple of years.
About 14, I think it was. That's what I asked the question.
Yeah.
All right,
Mr. Pollard,
okay.
that's a county ordered reval anyway. We would not arbitrarily perform a reevaluation unless the county
Okay,
forces its hand.
it was something I heard somebody say, and I was afraid
No.
that you might actually do it. The other thing I think has to be done, because there seem to be a number of significant changes in the budget this year. You have a bus driver that you have to hire, an additional DPW person to have to hire to run the senior van. Mrs. Curran is a full-timer versus the predecessor who was a part-timer. There are a number of part-time employees who became full-time employees, and therefore you pick up benefit costs. So I think there should be analysis presented that says, these increases are because they're inflationary increases. These increases are because we just hired a full-time CFO, and what is that going to cost us, and so on and so forth. So the taxpayers understand where the costs are coming from. And the other thing, I know you've had discussions in the past about what is the appropriate level of reserves to maintain. The state says the target should be 10% of your budget. I happened to hear that in one of the discussions about the state budget that was on television. And if that would be something, I guess, about $1.3 million to $1.4 million, $400,000. The rest would be available for use, and I would, suggest using it. And I want to go back to a topic that
You have 1 minute, Mr. Ferraro.
has to do with the $255,000 write-off. I went through the audited financial statement of the 2017, and on the schedule, there is $255,000 2006-9 ordinance from the Department of Environment and Protection. $255,000, plain as a nose in your face. If you go into page, I think it's 61 in the financial statements. My concern is that for 12 years, that's sat there. And nobody said anything, and all of a sudden it's being written off. So I don't know what.
Well, it wasn't written off, we had to pay it
We had to pay it. It was paid back in 2006
without being funded.
without us getting the grant, is what it
Correct.
goes down to. So the question would be, what process do you go through to make sure that that doesn't happen again? Or what process do you go through to, as Dr. Cassio mentioned, about half a dozen items that were grants that we applied for that disappear? Or they're not given the focus.
They didn't
on ongoing.
materialize, basically.
And I think that you should I recommend that you have Mr. Tovo and Ms. Curran to draw up a procedure and a policy and hand it to the auditor next time that says, this is what we want to do every year. And we want a continuous follow-up on reporting on the status of these things, just like you do your project tracking. It boggles the mind that something was able to sit there for 12 years.
You are absolutely correct.
And no auditor apparently asks the question, is why is this old stuff sitting here? If I go to the schedule of all the bands, you got items that are labeled 1999. They're only supposed to be there maximum of 10 years. So I don't know who's been running the farm, but it really needs correction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to come up and address the council at this time? Mr. Billius?
William Billius, 580 Walnut Street, ex-chief of the firehouse, current member, current director. Made to speak mainly as an ex-officer of the fire department. For years, we tried to, and this is kind of a preemptive comment, coming into budget discussions that you guys are going to go through. For years, we tried to upgrade fire trucks, look into studies on the firehouse. And thankfully, this dais has, complied and allowed us to participate in these proceedings. We have done the study on the firehouse. It was presented to this council, and this council has discussed it and agreed to move forward with the next phase. I'm hoping that it's taken very serious and not pushed off like we've pushed off trucks in previous years. We've pushed off the ladder truck that is over 30 years old, 32 years old now, for years because of the firehouse study. So we don't have to go to a customized truck, different costs. The cost of that truck about 5-6 years ago, when I was deputy chief, was probably about $1 million. We're looking close to $1.4, $1.5 million now to replace that truck when it comes to time. Costs aren't going down, they're going up. We're looking to replace one of the engines, possibly within the next year or so, with the recommendation from this council to go with an engine before the ladder truck. If we're going to push the building off, and I'm not saying we are, it's gonna push trucks back, and I just think we need to start moving forward here, and I'm hoping everybody is on board with this. I believe the architects are going to present next month to this dais, and I'm just hoping, you know, it's really taken into consideration. I know some, not all of you are on board with us having 4 trucks. That comment has been mentioned in previous years and currently. Yeah, I've been to quite a few storms in this town where we've had 4 trucks going in 4 different directions. If we had 6 trucks, we would have had 6 trucks going in 6 different directions. Mutual aid isn't always going to be there. It's not a guarantee. It's, you know, it's just something to keep in the back of your head. The 4 trucks are a necessity, I believe, for this town. And we've seen it this year, too, with, you know, we've had some maintenance issues. Thankfully, we had backup trucks. You know, the county isn't always going to be there. We have borrowed a county truck once. We hope we don't have to do that again because it wasn't that great of a fit for us. So I'm just hoping everybody thinks hard.
Thank you, Mr. Billy. Would anybody else like to come up and address the council at this time? Anyone else? Motion to close the public discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Ordinances adoption on second reading. Ordinance number 19-02, an ordinance prohibiting smoking in designated public places and within municipal facilities in the Township of Washington. Resolution number 19-161, authorized second reading and opening of public hearing for ordinance 19-02. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Any discussion, gentlemen? Motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 19-02.
Did you ask?
I'm sorry. Anybody like to discuss ordinance number 19-02? Seeing no one, motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Motion to adopt ordinance number 19-02 at second reading by title. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Ordinance number 19-03, an ordinance regarding second kitchens in single-family residences in the Township of Washington. Resolution number 19-162, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance 19-03. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Would anybody like to discuss ordinance 19-03 at this time? Mr. Allman?
Yeah, I just had one question.
This is the public. This is public only.
I'm sorry, anybody in the public like to discuss ordinance number 1903? Yes, Mr. Farrar.
William Farrar again. Does this grandfather existing second kitchens?
No, it does not.
So somebody has to take a kitchen out?
If they want to close on their home, yes.
They want to close it out?
Or get a variance for it from the zoning board, right, Mr. Powell?
My concern is that this assumes that the home is big enough to actually have 2 families in it, in a first level and a second level. But if somebody has a a stove in their basement for whatever reason, and doesn't have a bathroom, doesn't have bedrooms and so forth, that really couldn't be a two-family legally. Not that anything's legal, it's two-family in this town. So my concern is that banning this, or banning somebody who wants to have a second kitchen in their home, I think is, you know, it's a little bit restrictive. It's an imposition on people. I think there must be other ways to find out whether there are two-family homes around here.
There are no two-family homes in Washington Township.
I know. Although at one time, and maybe Mr. Pollak can comment, I thought there was, and I thought it was a situation of a mother-daughter where there were direct relationships at one point in time. And that was back, you know, maybe before you were here.
Yeah, before zoning.
Okay. That's my concern, that, you know, you're cutting people off from just having, they want to have a stove, they have a second stove for whatever reason. So,
Thank you. Would anybody else like to discuss 19-03? Seeing no one, motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 19-03?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Oman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Mr. Ullman, you had a question?
Just, does the presence of a cooking appliance, is that the only item that sort of makes it a second kitchen? So does it have to have other, you know, a sink, a refrigerator, or is the presence of a second cooking appliance automatically create a second kitchen, which automatically creates a two-family residence?
No, it doesn't automatically. It's nothing legal that does that. It's the criteria that we've put in that designates it as a second kitchen. And other towns kind of take the same approach, and they don't want to say you can't have a second refrigerator because people have second refrigerators.
Yes.
They don't want to say a second.
Can you put your mic on, please, Mr. Powell?
Second freezers, people have second freezers. People might have a microwave, that's okay to have a microwave. People could have.
You could have a wet bar mic.
You could have a whole bunch of little things, but the one watchword that seems to be focused on, as I've seen throughout other towns and in looking this thing around, was the cooking aspect of things, the stovetop, things of that nature. So that's why, if you were looking to ban it, that was the linchpin.
And the elimination of that second cooking apparatus, if it happened to be in a basement and there was an inspection, once it's removed, does it eliminate the
Yes. In other words,
condition?
yes, yeah. In other words, they
Okay.
remove the stove or the cooktop, yes.
Okay.
That would make it, bring it back into being conforming.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, gentlemen? Motion to adopt ordinance number 19-03 at second reading by title. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, who motion, I'm sorry?
Mike Ullman
Thank
and
you, I couldn't tell.
Mr. Cummings, or Mr. Bruno, whoever you want.
Councilman Bruno?
No.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Oman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Ordinance 19-04, an ordinance regarding short-term rental property prohibitions in the Township of Washington. Resolution number 19-163, authorized second reading and opening of public hearing for ordinance number 19-04. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Oman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Anybody like to discuss ordinance 19-04 in the public? Seeing no one, motion to close public hearing for ordinance 19-04.
Motion. Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Oman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Motion to adopt ordinance number 19-04 at second reading by title. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Oman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Introduction on first reading, ordinance number 19-05, an ordinance amending fees for summer recreation program activities and related services. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 19-05 at first reading by title. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Before we do that, do we have a red line as to what changed?
On what?
Or is this, did these all change?
Oh, I didn't do that.
Hold on. It wasn't a red line. There was a copy that was given to me from Mr. Sedekis, the secretary, superintendent. I just changed it from that. I can pass it down if you would like.
Can you just go over it really quick, too, if that's okay?
Is it what we agreed to at the last meeting?
She'll just read the changes that we made, if you don't mind. I think you just passed it to yellow.
Yeah.
While Sue is looking for that, can you just clarify the, if we're looking at the first page, so summer rec, the first participant is $350. Is the before and after, the 525, is that in addition, or is that inclusive? So is it 875, or is it?
Right, well, I found it. Right. So what happened was, if you want me to just, I'll go through the whole thing?
Sure.
And show you, all right. Summer recreation program, fee for the first family participant went from $300 to $350. Fee for each additional family participant is from $290 to $340. Summer recreation before and after care programs, full before and after care, it changed from like 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and then 2:30 p.m. It changed from 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., so an extra hour. Went from $480 to $525. And then the each additional went from $470 to $500. Full before care went from $150 to $180. Each additional $140 to $160. Full aftercare program went from 2:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Again, an additional hour, from $360 to $400. And then for each additional, from $350 to $375. Late pickup fee did not change. Out of town registration, summer recreation program went from $375 to $400, $365 to $390. And then the full before and after care program, the hours did not change, but the fees went from $555 to $550, and from $545 to $540. And then full before.
Sue,
I'm sorry.
so the 4:30, it only changed, the end of day only changed for in-town?
Yes. That's what was given to me. I can,
I think that sounds a little, I don't know, maybe not 100%.
I can verify for you.
I don't want to discriminate against those who don't live in our lovely town. And the fee for that?
Went from $555 to $550 even, and then from $545 to $540 for each additional. Only a $5 change.
Went down.
Yes, down.
And any other changes to
And
the
then
last
full
2 months?
before care went from $225 to $250. Each additional went from $215 to $225. And then full aftercare went from $435 to $450, and from $425 to $440.
Thank you.
Sure. I will reach out and double check that end time though, and with the superintendent and the director, and I will get back to you.
And then, would you also mind asking, I don't know if you know, but are these add-ons
Yes.
cumulative? So
Yeah, if you want a full day, full before and after care, you're paying $350 for the 6 weeks, and you're paying $480 for the 6 weeks. So it's going to cost you $830.
$350 and $525.
$350 and $525. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm looking at the old numbers. Yeah, so it'd be $875 for the 6 weeks for your child to attend recreation with before and after care.
And do you know the rationale for a 6-hour program to be $350 and then for an extra 3 hours to be $525?
It's similar to what the other towns are charging.
I'm glad that other towns charge that, and I'm not questioning that. I'm asking the rationale for, I mean, I would assume it's a staffing issue, and if we're staffing for 6 hours during the heart of the program for $350,
Because you're spreading the heart of the program over 400 kids, and this is minimal. Not everybody does before and after care, Mike. So it's a smaller group to the population. You know, if you have 350 participants for recreation, you're spreading the cost over those 350.
Sure.
Where before and after care is possibly, you know, I don't know, 10, 20 kids. So the costs are definitely going to be higher.
I'm assuming we don't retain the staff the whole time. I mean, okay,
Does that answer your question somewhat? Or?
it does, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't particularly agree with it, so I'll reach out to the rec director.
Anything else, Jonathan? Resolution number
We have to do a roll call.
Oh, roll call on
Sorry.
an ordinance.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
No.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Resolution number 19-164, authorizing publication of ordinance 19-05 and schedule a public hearing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Individual resolutions. Resolution 19-165, authorized transfer of appropriations in the 2018 budget in the first 3 months of the year 2019. Financial services. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Before we take roll, can you explain the purpose, please?
I can.
Judy, can you please explain?
Yes. We received a bill for financial services 2018. There wasn't enough in the budget. And that's the amount that I have to transfer over.
The 11-17-50?
Who's the bill from?
Lord Trinity.
And you know what the service was?
The service was that there was no reconciliation for the tax account for the entire year.
And you know who was supposed to reconcile that?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not.
Well, I want to know. Who was supposed to reconcile it?
I think I should, I don't know, Mr. Tover, do you want to speak to that, or?
Yeah, we looked into that, there was no clear delineation throughout the year of who was responsible for that, either the former CFO or the acting tax collector, so we have since clarified who's responsible for it.
So it was either the former CFO or the former tax collector? Is
The
that-
acting tax collector.
The acting,
is
I'm
now-
sorry, the acting tax collector.
Correct.
Has that been squared away? We know who has to do it now?
We do, yes.
Thank you. Any other questions, Jonathan?
Was it,
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mike, I'm sorry.
no, you go. You had the
Well,
floor.
if it was one of those two persons, why did the auditing firm do it as opposed to those two people? The acting tax collector or the other one?
They didn't do it.
That occurred prior to the current CFO getting here, so we were not aware that it wasn't done.
Okay, so when we have a new CFO, why wasn't she permitted to do that work?
I
Or
can
if
Why
answer-
I-
we hand it off to her?
I can answer that.
Please do.
Prior to my coming, you had a CFO here, a tax collector, and another two tax collectors and a
Right.
CFO. When I came in, I did the tax collector report for the entire year,
Mhm.
okay? There was not enough time to even do that bank tax reconciliation. I was not even told that it was not done for an entire year.
And I'm not putting that on you, Judy.
I'm
That's
just
not
saying,
my
but
point.
it would have been almost impossible to get done.
Okay.
I mean, I did the
So
reports for
it was,
an
it was,
entire
a, it was a
year.
timing issue, you know, that we had to hire someone to do it in a timely fashion, is that what we're saying?
Right, because nothing was done.
But we have the practice in place now to get it done for 2019
Well, now it
without
should be the
waiting.
tax collector that reconciles that account.
Thank you.
That's what it should be.
That's all I needed to hear.
Who, may I ask, was it reconciled through fiscal year end 2017?
No, it was not.
So we had an open reconciliation from the end of 17 that carried forward through,
Well, 17 was done, but it was not done by staff. It was done by Trinity, I believe, also.
okay, but it was done.
It was done.
So we were current through end of year end 17.
Yes.
And then for the majority of 18, that reconciliation was not done for whatever reasons.
It was not done for 18.
And we brought in a professional service firm to perform that
Yes.
reconciliation.
And what are we doing for 19? Do we know?
The tax collector,
Well, that's what should be reconciling that account for 19. That is her
I
account.
just asked if the best management practices in place.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
And were there any open reconciling items
Any open reconciling items?
On
In
the-
terms of,
on this reconciliation?
well, the whole entire account isn't done.
No, I know, but now that it is done, are we carrying any open reconciling items?
Just a few, like regular deposit in transit, outstanding checks, things like that.
Is that standard practice?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm surprised we would have outstanding checks from 18 that fell into 19.
Well, you will still have some at 18 at the end of the year, and some deposit in transits. It would.
Anything else, Sean?
Just one other question. Last meeting, we talked about what we could pay from. Is this something that can be paid out of 18 versus having to fund it for 19?
This was being paid out of 18, that's why I made the transfer.
So it's out of 18.
It's out of 18.
But wouldn't it go against the surplus? Or the appropriated
It
reserves on the
will,
balance
it would,
sheet?
yes, it would, it would.
So we
Because the
really,
AFS is done, so so the surplus would be down $1,000.
so we wouldn't have to fund this then technically?
No, you have money available.
Okay.
I just hope this doesn't happen again, that's all.
Do we,
No,
just,
Mike hasn't.
do we have a list of accounts outside of your direct control? And do we have a name next to them in terms of ownership, reconciliation, responsibility, frequency, and things like that?
I think we actually have to talk about the structure of that, because I don't really know where that stands. I was told different things when I started.
Okay.
You know, who's doing this, who's doing what, I'm doing this. I don't really know where that stands, actually.
Who's
If I could-
responsible? I'm sorry.
There'll be no accounts that are at least within her direct control. They will be supervised by her.
I understand that, and I think Ms. Curran will certainly take ownership of those that are within her jurisdiction or her responsibility. This wasn't, and I'm wondering if there's some account out there that should also be reconciled, that is not under Ms. Curran's responsibility, that's under the responsibility of another individual who is not doing it. Because at the end of the day, you know, cash is king, and we should be reconciling our cash. I just,
Well, if, Judy, if Mike's scenario was correct, wouldn't that have been picked up in the audit?
I would have, right now I can tell you everything's being reconciled.
No, but I'm saying in Mike's situation that he just gave a scenario of, if there was an account lingering that wasn't reconciled, that was
Well,
supposed
you
to be.
couldn't do the AFS if nothing wasn't, or things weren't reconciled. You couldn't do the AFS and they've been done.
Now, we've been written up for year after year for not reconciling the bank accounts. The problem was, is that, again, before your time, a lot of the bank accounts were supposedly being done by rec people and direct, people that weren't in the finance world. And I had suggested that all those bank recs go into the finance world so you control them. So I don't know if it was ever done or not, but a lot of the reconciliations for these individual accounts weren't reconciled because they're not people that are going to reconcile the accounts, period. So these all should have been moved into the finance area, or if it hasn't been, they should be going forward.
Well, I think they are, I just don't know who's supposed to be doing what. But as Mr. Tovo said, I think he's going to determine who's going to be doing what at some point in time. And right now, I'm doing the bulk of it, I'm doing the really difficult ones right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you only have a few people in your area, so it's you or some other, to your assistants, that's all you're left with. But it should be pulled out from everybody else. This was in the audit report, it was recommended, we got written up for it year after year after year.
Well, I was going to go to central cash just so we could avoid having all the different departments doing the reconciliation, because most of them are not finance people.
When do you think we're going to have central cashier in place?
I'd like to maybe get there by June or July.
It's a little difficult right now to put a time frame on it, but we will work towards it by year's end.
My point is, these are things that we're hiring part-time and full-time employees to do, and it's not being done. And now we have to charge our outside firm additional funds. That defeats the whole purpose of having those people in place.
Oh, I agree with that.
And I know it's frustrating, but this is not the first time something like this has happened. It's happened years prior. I don't know if Mr. Tovo's aware of that. And every time we get a little surprise from our auditor or Vinci, and I don't like surprises like that. So if we have stuff that we're doing in-house, we want it done in-house. If there's stuff that's necessary and required to go outside, I don't mind spending money for that either. But that's why we're spending that type of money on salaries and wages.
I agree.
So thank you.
Anything else, gentlemen? Roll call?
I'd just like to comment quickly. These things didn't just go wrong in one day, and they're taking time to get fixed, but now that we're fully staffed in Town Hall, we're working on cleaning up these things, but, it takes time to get them cleaned up also. I think, we're all working in the right direction, so, but, there will still be occasional things like this until everything is caught up and we're done paying for the sins of the past.
Peter, I could not, honestly, with all due respect to you as the mayor, I could not disagree more. I understand that there may have been issues with staffing, but again, these are items that are being brought to our attention. I mean, quite honestly, we would never have even known that we had a reconciling issue if we didn't have to do a transfer. So if this money was in financial services already, it would have been paid and we would not have even heard about it. So thankfully, there was poor planning last year. So we had to do a transfer, so this comes out. The same with the payments for the former engineer. Again, things were coming in for months and months and years, not brought to the attention of the council. And, they're brought to the attention of the council, and it puts us, I think, in a difficult position, and it puts us in a bad light. And it should, because these are things that should be done. So I understand that we are staffing up. I understand that we're looking to hire more, but it doesn't eliminate the responsibility of people who are taking a paycheck or who were paid to do these roles. And a cash reconciliation is one of the most important things. And with tax, I can't imagine, there's a lot of money coming across that account, I would assume.
It's the largest account we have.
Well, the only thing is that most of the money gets transferred out of tax to current, just that you have to do a tax reconciliation and you'll do the proper reporting. But I was able to do the reporting without even getting all the reconciliation done. I was able to give a whole year's report to the audit, to Luttrell, so you would have something to start with. Otherwise, the bill would have been even larger than that.
Thank you.
Do you have any tax receivables out there based upon the reconciliation that we haven't received yet?
Well, you always
From
have last year's
residences?
delinquent taxes that'll
But
go
I
to
mean,
tax sale.
not delinquent, just people just haven't paid, or, well, delinquent.
Well, you have delinquent anyway.
Is there a big number?
That I wouldn't know. I mean, Joy would know that because I don't really run those numbers. But what I'm actually trying to teach Joy is to do a report every single month and give that report to me. And that would be, delinquent taxes, interest, current taxes, seniors, vets, judgments, all that kind of stuff. That was never done here at Wall, and that's part of your duties as a tax collector.
Okay. Anything else, gentlemen? Roll call?
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cummings?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSenza?
Yes. Resolution 19-166, authorized transfer of tax sale certificate premiums from trust account to current account. Do I have a motion?
Which, motion.
Second.
What is this now?
This is the lien. Transfer of the lien.
It's a lien transfer.
This is where what happens is when you have a tax sale certificate, the lien holder has to post the premium, and if it's not redeemed in 5 years, the town gets to keep that premium, which is $3,000. So that's transferred from the trust to the current, so that's income for us, $3,000.
Okay.
So this we're keeping?
Yes.
It's a good guy. Good
Okay.
guy.
So we lost 750, but we made 3, Bob. We're in good shape, right?
Catching up?
Only 747,000 more to fund.
There we go.
It's disgusting. Roll call?
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cummings?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSenza?
Yes. Resolution 19-168, appointment of Judith Curran as temporary purchasing agent. Do I have a motion? Mr. Tovo, can you discuss?
Motion second first, please.
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Tovo, can you?
Be happy to, Mr. President. Mr. Cavallo was our QPA,
Thank you.
temporary QPA. He no longer wishes to serve in that capacity. The division allows us to appoint a non-qualified purchasing agent for a period of 1 year, with the option for a second year renewal. Ms. Curran has the knowledge and the ability to fill this role. She recently, or will complete one of the courses towards the QPA certification, I believe, this week. So it'd be prudent to appoint her to that position for the next 12 months.
So, I'm sorry, did you say somebody was a QPA and doesn't
Matt
want it?
Cavallo was the QPA and no longer wants to be the QPA.
Well, that makes sense. So you're going to handle all the finances and all the qualified purchasing agent activities now?
Yes.
Is that a lot on your plate? Too much, too little? I mean, you're taking a whole purchasing.
I think it's doable because I'm working with Dina, and I do have other people that I could call as a CFO. We know a lot about purchasing anyway.
But all the purchasing activities now, which we've had problems for the last umpteen years since I've been here, because I don't really understand whether we've done it right or wrong, but we never seem to get it right because of this QPA not having one. So it's always been an issue,
Well,
and
the
now we
QPA
still don't have one.
The QPA, what it essentially does is, it allows you to keep the higher threshold
For bids?
for bids, exactly. And purchasing right now is under Mr. Tobo. So I do believe between Mr. Tobo, myself, and now Dina's doing a lot of accounts payable, I think that we can handle it. Otherwise, you have to pay someone, I think they want maybe $7,500 or $10,000 to hang a QPA license. And essentially, I could actually fill those shoes and you wouldn't really have to pay anything.
So now you're looking to become a QPA by the end of the year? Is that that's the game plan,
Well, I could
Mr.
sit
Tovo?
for the exam in June, so I'm hoping to be able to have enough study time to sit for it.
Any other discussion, John?
I mean, it just helps the town in terms of giving.
I'm not disagreeing, but, you know, this, again, we sit here with the financial statements in disarray, ordinances in disarray, unfunded, funded, unfunded. We have money floating all over the place, and I've been asking this for 3 years, still, and it had nothing to do with you, haven't seen anything yet, and now you're gonna take on another function when everything else that we're trying to do, even for this budget, to figure out our surplus, our $1 million in the school fund, what we're doing with all these ordinances, and that hasn't gone anywhere, so I just see everything just not going
I
anywhere.
think the position will more or less be split. That's how I feel. I think
As far as the function goes, you'll see very little difference from what we're doing now.
now, there's not going to be a
Purchasing
difference in
is on-
function. I mean, just that, said it raises the threshold. I think we would work together.
Correct.
I mean, if you get to the point where I think it's not working and you want to get it on QPA and spend the money, that's up to you.
So are we making this appointment, and is it being done simply, is it for lack of a better term, a paper entry, or do we really benefit? So when we use Matt, was he adding value to the process, or were we just using his signature so we could increase the thresholds?
There's a review done monthly by the QPA to make sure that purchasing is being done properly. Same would occur in this circumstance. The review is done by administration, the CFO, and the QPA. So therefore, you'll see very little difference in what we're doing going forward compared to what we did in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion, gentlemen? Roll call?
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Owen?
Yes.
Council President Pacetta?
Yes. Adjournment to conference agenda, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Owen?
Yes.
Council President Pacetta?
Yes. Next regularly scheduled meeting of the Township Council will be Monday, April 1st, 2019, beginning at 7:30 PM. There's a budget meeting this coming Wednesday and this Saturday. I lost my PSA. Quick PSA, sign up for Swift Reach 911 alerts. Keep informed both at home and on the go. Receive public safety alerts, emergency notices and instructions, and important local notices from the Township of Washington Police Department and Administration. Message will be sent by one or more of the following methods: a voice call to your home and/or mobile numbers, a text message to your mobile phone, an email to one or more email addresses. Residents using the Swift 911 app will receive push notifications. You can subscribe or unsubscribe to specific alert types, and your information is always kept private and confidential. Go to www.townshipwashington.us to sign up online, or just text Swift 911 to 99538 and click on the link in your text message to sign up. PSENG, sign up for My Alerts at pseng.com to receive status updates by text and email. Suez contact number is 1-800-422-5987. Commuter parking at the firehouse. To avoid a summons, the 2019 commuter tag must be displayed on your vehicle while parked at the firehouse parking lot. Raffle license. Having a raffle in the township, you must apply for a raffle license application. Please contact the clerk's office or visit the website under forms. JIF, the Township of Washington has received the Silver Award as part of the Bergen County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund 2018 Safety Management Program. The Silver Award is based on points achieved on the Safety Incentive Program, which comes with a $1,000 monetary award payable to the township. Thank you. Under conference agenda is being suspended to discuss the 2019 budget, gentlemen, right? We're going to go into closed and then come back out for the budget. Yeah, motion to go into closed to discuss pending closed session 19-167 to discuss Viviano Coa, pending anticipated litigation, personnel, tax collector, police records clerk, assistant to the township clerk, board of health secretary, DMF director, violations clerk, and the judge. Motion to enter into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Just one question.
Yes. Mr. Brown.
Do we have any idea on how long this might be, the close, before we reemerge?
At least half hour, maybe an hour.
Okay, that's, I mean, that, this is
But we
not
will
gonna-
come back out to continue the budget when we're done.
Okay. If people are watching, I want them, let them know they could go and get dinner and come back.
Roll call?
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSenza.
Yes. Let's take a 5-minute recess.